Today's talk is Holographic Collaboration for Design and Engineering. Jay Wright is an inventor and entrepreneur with a history of anticipating shifts in computing and building products to realize them. Since 2008, he's been focused on augmented reality and is best known for co-founding Vuforia. Jay took on a new mission with Campfire in 2019 to deliver on the promise of holographic collaboration for design and engineering. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you, Clay. Well, I got to tell you, it feels so good to be back out in the land of the living in person. I mean, this last couple years was a great time to get some serious work done, but does this feel good or what? My God. So welcome, everybody. Let me start off and give you a little bit of background on me. My career's been characterized by a series of getting really excited about shifts in computing and trying to identify the killer applications for those shifts and building them. I'm a builder. And the first thing I really got excited about, it's interesting because it happened at this very convention center. It was August of 1993, and it was Apple's inaugural developer conference for the Newton. Anybody there with me? Anyone even remember what the Newton is? Dating myself. Oh, thank you. So for those of you that don't know, the Newton was a very early precursor to what is today the iPhone. And it was a PDA designed for consumer use, and my big idea was this ought to replace clipboards and paper for enterprise. And I built a product called FormLogic, and FormLogic sold more Newton devices than any of Apple's consumer channels. So great idea, a little ahead of its time. My next big thing that got me excited was when I saw wireless data on a mobile device, initially a PDA. Some of you might remember the Palm 7. And I said, wow, you know what we could do? If we had a wireless device, we could actually download and install and buy software this way. And I built SingleTap, which to my knowledge is the first fully functional operating app store. We just launched it in 2001, which was a little early for wireless. So I think that idea has proved out to be a pretty good one. But 14 years ago, I got the AR bug, and I got a bigger bug than I'd had with anything before because the potential is just so enormous, right? I mean, AR is such a big idea, the notion this could be the last platform that any of us use, the last device that we use, removes all screens. And I was at Qualcomm at the time, and I built what Ori described as the mother of AR, if you saw the keynote this morning, Vuforia. And in the course of running Vuforia at Qualcomm and then running Vuforia at PTC, there were a couple of capabilities that struck me as really profound that could be done with augmented reality. And not just things that would help people get work done, but that would make life better for everybody. And one of those is what we know of today as sort of remote assistance or remote expert. And actually, 4 years ago, last time I was on stage at AWE, we launched Vuforia Chalk to realize that. But there was another one. There was another one in this area of remote collaboration or 3D collaboration. It was actually quite frustrating for me with Vuforia because it wasn't something that we could realize in software alone. The devices that we needed to do this just were not available. And so we're building Campfire to realize that capability. And we call it holographic collaboration. Now, I know you guys are familiar with the concept. You've seen a lot of images like this. People are gathered around in a meeting, focused really intently on some hologram in the middle of the table. And, it's real people in the real world collaborating around the table like people do most efficiently, like people might have done around a campfire long ago. Now, we've seen a ton of this in the movies. I think Star Wars example is my favorite one. These guys got some serious work done this way. I mean, just look at battle planning. I don't think they would have taken out the Death Star without it. Now, beyond movies, well, it seems the tech industry got really excited about this capability and has marketed it with a lot of materials and concept videos that paint an awesome picture for the future, right? There's more of these every day. I think we got 3 new big concept videos in this space just in the last 2 weeks. And this one happens to be from Magic Leap. I'm not picking on Magic Leap. I think everyone has done this. But those of you that have actually tried to realize this scenario with today's devices, like, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't work like this. It's nowhere freaking close. And it's really too bad, because that capability is crazy powerful for enterprise and specifically for design and engineering. I mean, can you imagine if you could just snap your fingers and get that 3D out of CAD and have it be a shared hologram where everybody could collaborate with it? And not just with other designers and engineers, but with sales folks, marketing folks, manufacturing folks, partners, vendors overseas. Everyone looking at the same thing at the same time. They can actually point at something and know what somebody else is pointing at. And even if it's not at the same time, you can go in there and leave notes for other people at another time to come in and respond to. So it sounds pretty good, right? Promise is good. It's been out there. But it's not how we're doing it today. Right? The way we're doing it today is pretty bad, and that's because a 2D screen is a pretty crappy way to look at 3D data. This is not how our brains are wired. We are wired to process 3D data in real space. And as you all know, trying to have a conversation with other people, especially about remote, about 3D, is a freaking nightmare. Even when everybody on the call speaks the same language, you struggle for words just to explain what it is you're looking at. No, the other side, this way, that part, bigger, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. It is crazy annoying. Well, look, there's a better way. We've seen the vision, and Campfire's bringing the reality. So with Campfire, we have taken a completely new approach. We have done all new devices, yes, devices, and applications that work together. And we've designed them specifically for this use case. And like you all know, when you design specifically for a particular use case, you can really move the needle. And we have really moved the needle in terms of visual experience, ease of use, and the ability to integrate with your workflow. All right, I'm going to roll a quick video and give you guys a preview of what this experience looks like, and then we are going to take a tour through the devices and applications in Campfire. And here we go.
Campfire is a purpose-built holographic visualization system for designing new physical products via remote collaboration.
What we found with Campfire is you can have conversations that you couldn't have before.
Campfire stripped away a lot of the complexity that exists in the AR/VR landscape today by really focusing in on the use case of remote collaboration and connecting distributed design and engineering teams.
We always want to make sure that technology answers a human need because we want it to be adopted. Human-centered design helps to ensure that the things that are being built are the things that we should build and that they're actually helpful for people.
Campfire is integrated hardware and software for working with holograms.
What excites me about using Campfire is to be able to interact very naturally with a product in that virtual space.
With Campfire, you can actually see the 3D object anchored and scaled within your space. You have a wide-angle view and truly high-def visualization of the 3D models to make it feel as if you're sitting around the table with your team, even if you're spread across the world.
We spent a lot of time thinking about how do people design, how do people collaborate, and how might they want to do that in a 3D environment.
Our hardware and software are designed to work the way people do. They integrate seamlessly with your existing workflow. You open a Campfire link, put on your headset, and your models appear on your desk or table right alongside your PC.
Campfire allows you to not only scale your team, but expand upon those who are present throughout the design process.
It's hard to overstate the long-term impact of this capability. We're focused on using this technology to help people achieve more today.
Hey, thank you. So that gives you a little taste of the Campfire product and experience. And I hope you also appreciate that we took great care with our partner Frog Design to make sure that this video is true to the product experience. Campfire will not be a company that produces concept videos of what will come in 10 years. We're going to be the company that delivers products that solve problems now. Now, for those of you that don't know Frog Design is an iconic design firm, been around for 50 years, probably most well known for doing early Apple products, and has done some of the most recognizable consumer and industrial products you've ever used. All right, let's start with our tour. Now let's start with the Campfire headset. Without question, the biggest complaint with AR devices to date for this use case has been field of view. And it's a deal breaker. It's a big deal. If you can't see the whole thing of what you're looking at, there's no point in using the device at all. We've taken field of view significantly higher than what's come before, a full 92 degrees diagonally. And you can actually see the Campfire field of view there mapped against both HoloLens 2 and Magic Leap 2 using data provided by Carl Gutag. Now, if you want to compare based on area instead of diagonal field of view, it's nearly twice as big as the Magic Leap 2. It's nearly 4 times as large as HoloLens 2. Field of view, important, deal breaker, but it's not the only deal breaker. There's also image quality. And look, image quality is complex in AR. Of course, there's brightness, there's contrast, there's also transparency, there's artifacts from optics, and there's no good metrics that allow us to compare these. So the good news, because you're all here at AWE, is you're going to be able to see this live, and you're going to be able to see the Campfire headset for yourselves and how it delivers a night and day difference in image quality. Now, the other thing that you want to do when you're around the table and you're collaborating with people, whether together or remote, is you want to be able to make facial contact. Right? We get a lot of cues from people's faces, not just from what they say. With the Campfire headset, you can see people's faces through that visor, and they can see yours. You can do that across the table, and you can even do that while you're on a Zoom call. And speaking of a Zoom call, if you're going to spend any meaningful time in an AR headset in this use case, you better be able to see your existing screens. God knows your phone's going to be calling with notifications that you've got to answer. You've got your desktop PC where you might be referring to CAD or PowerPoint or a Google Doc, and then you probably have a screen on the wall in the meeting room that you need to look at. With a Campfire headset, you can see screens in their native fidelity without artifacts from waveguides. All right. So next, while this is fundamentally an AR experience, there are times when you need to get in VR. You can do that with the Campfire headset, with a cover that attaches magnetically. And it's probably going to be the most comfortable VR you've ever experienced. And that's because it doesn't touch your face. You still have your peripheral vision of the real world. So if you're someone that gets nauseous in VR, you're probably not going to get nauseous here. If you're somebody that doesn't like a raccoon face, you're not going to have that. And also, this fits over your glasses. Really, really important to get people productive instantly. Now, on the topic of getting people productive instantly, one of the other challenges we have with devices today is getting people familiar with how to interact with them. Today, we need to show somebody how to use VR controllers, or we have to teach them a little of AR sign language with gestures. Not so with Campfire. We're using a device that everybody already knows how to use and interact with. It's their phone. And we do that with the use of the Campfire Pack that attaches to the back, no Wi-Fi setup, no Bluetooth setup. It brings up an app as your controller with a range of tools starting with a laser pointer. Next, Campfire Console. Now, you probably haven't seen a lot of examples or demos of shared holograms or holographic experiences with multiple people in the same room. And that's because they are really difficult to do. It's difficult to set them up and make them work in the first place. It's difficult to make them work robustly. But they have to work robustly. These shared holograms have to be as robust as the monitor that's on your desk. And that's exactly what the Campfire Console does. This sits on your desk or table. It actually emulates a holographic projector. And it joins together everybody in your room, other rooms, all in the same coordinate space immediately. And it also works in low-lit environments like design studios, and also in challenging environments where you have a lot of surfaces with plain color, which quite frankly is most of them. Now, I mentioned earlier, wouldn't it be great if we snap our fingers and get CAD into a shared environment that we can all look at immediately? Until we can snap, we have Campfire Scenes. The way to think about Campfire Scenes is a combination of like a Google Docs and a PowerPoint for holograms. It's like Google Docs in that these documents and content are stored in the cloud, they're shared with a link, and they're inherently collaborative, which means if multiple people have the link at the same time and they open it, they're just in there together. And it's like a PowerPoint in that data is organized sequentially, not as slides, but as three-dimensional scenes. So if you've got a model that you want to share immediately, you create a new scene in Campfire Scenes, and you drop in more than 40 different formats of CAD or 3D scans, including the output from Apple's latest object capture, and you share it, and boom, you go. If you want to do something more complex, like sales or training materials, you can absolutely do that too. Looks like I'm actually. Okay, all right. We'll wrap this up quickly. Look, there are times when you're not going to have your headset with you. For example, maybe you're at a conference and staying in a hotel, but you need to participate in this experience and be able to collaborate. So we're introducing Campfire for iPad. And this is pretty amazing. As you all know, Apple does a great job with AR, and through the magic of ARKit, we have an amazing AR view that allows you to collaborate as if you had a headset. And even with the same remote, all the tools that you have on the phone using the headset are built into the iPad app. And for moments that you don't want to actively collaborate and participate, we have audience view. So you could sit and watch and see what people are doing from any angle you want, including looking through somebody else's headset. All right, so that's the end of the quick tour. I'm just skimming the surface. Let's talk about availability. So Campfire is available now under an early access program. And we've had this available since the spring, and we have had incredibly good engagement from some of the largest companies and industries ranging from apparel to IT to aerospace. And we're actually going to be expanding this program now with Campfire for iPad. So to participate, please go to campfire3d.com and apply. Commercial availability is for next year, targeted for next year. Will be available on a subscription basis for both hardware and software. Finally, we could not be more thrilled to reveal Campfire publicly for the first time at AWE. So we'll have a booth opening tomorrow. It's booth 513. Absolutely come by and check it out. We would love to hear what you think. And you can do the demo in a booth that was actually designed inside Campfire too. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great show. I don't know if we have time.
Yeah. Can everybody hear me okay? You wanted to give away the Campfire.
We do. We're going to give away a Campfire system. So what you need to do, drop a business card if you still carry those things, or write a name and email address on a piece of paper. Get it in that blue bag with Christy as you leave the room.
All right, we have a few minutes left because I know you're dying to talk to Jay. Does anybody want to get started with a question? I have a microphone. I can pass it over. I saw you first here. Thank you so much. Jay, thank you. I do want to give you a round of applause. That was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so great presentation, really interesting. I'm with Lockheed Martin, and so your model that you showed was a cute little headset, right? We're talking about full-scale warfighters, millions of triangles, millions of parts, or thousands of parts, millions of triangles. How do you handle larger scale models?
So the Campfire headset plugs in to a PC with a discrete GPU. So if you can render that with a VR headset on a PC, you will be able to render that with Campfire. But we are not using an onboard GPU because it simply does not give us the power we need to render high-end 3D.
All right, next question.
Yes. My name is Andrew Thompson. One quick question. What's your cost for the headset and the software relate to like a HoloLens and a Leap 2?
We haven't announced pricing. We will announce pricing as we get closer to launch. What will be different is it will be available on a subscription model for both hardware and software, and you will be able to get started with downloadable apps on devices you have before you get your hands on Campfire hardware.
Beautiful. Jay, fantastic presentation. I've been following you for a long time, since Euphoria, and you're a true visionary. My name is Lex. I'm from White Label AR. I'm very interested in basically everything you're doing, but especially this. What are you looking for now in terms of clients, in terms of partners? I'm sure this is a pretty young venture. Where are you, and what are you looking for in the next year or so?
So for early access, we're prioritizing companies that have tried to do this use case before. Right? Because there's a lot of folks, I think, that have bought a HoloLens or bought other devices or VR, tried to make this work, and have run into the challenges. And those are the folks that we're prioritizing in early access now. So if you go into the website and you fill in the form, there'll be places where you can explain the experience you've had, the devices you've had, and the challenges. Please fill those out completely, because that's how we evaluate priority. Thank you. Great question.
So is this a device that connects to the Autodesk suite, or are you exporting out as an FBX or something?
You'll get your Autodesk files directly into Campfire scenes. So you can think of it as an import, but it will accept them directly.
So
the raw files. FBX, of course, but there's more than 40 different formats supported. It's pretty broad.
Got one more question. Who's got a question? Burning question. Anything else you wanted to add, Jay?
Just thank you. Thank you so much. It's so great to be back in person. Have a great show, and please come see the demo.
Woo.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being here.